welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with me, Lucy. Today we're going to be practicing something that I think is called task coupling. It's when you pair something you really want to do with something you really don't want to do. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here, right here at this beach. You see, I have been absolutely dreading working on this beach because I just did not have a vision. I still don't really have a vision, I have a vague idea. And when you don't know what you're going to do, how can you start working on it? So that's I think something I really don't want to work on part of the project, but something I really want to work on is adding ambience. I'm going to say that word funny, just bear with me. It's one of those I can't quite say right. Ambience? Ambience? I don't know. You get what I mean. What I mean by ambience is probably well defined within the sort of context of my base. You see the little birdies? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Do you see well, you can't see it, but if we get closer, do you see the falling petals from the mushroom? I'm afraid it's one of those you have to be really close to see. Yeah, okay, right. Pretend there's falling petals. Yeah, falling petals right here. Well, not petals, leaves, but anyways. It's those little tiny details, very little tiny details that add life to the build. Some other examples of it around my base may be, the smoke coming out the chimney here, just a little bit of movement. Or maybe it's the happy gas kind of roaming around this tower. Maybe it's the horse that's perpetually spinning in my base. Little bits of movement. They may be static like the birds, or they may actually move like the chimneys or the animals. But one side of the base is very much missing that, and I think it's this beach side. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to try to add things like the effect of waves splashing, like seagulls in the sky. This is very flat, it's very static, and although we have the cherry blossoms, I think I'm going to rip those out, so I'm not even going to count them. But we should have a lot more here. We should have water flowing. We do a little bit, but that needs a bit of work. We should have, this spot of my base that overlooks the awesome sun sword thing. This should be one of the best spots of my base. Yeah, it's the one that I kind of dread the most. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to try to take you along with as much of the process as I can. Start from the conception of it to actually doing it in game. We're going to do every step. And believe it or not, to get started on something you have no idea what to do for, you actually have to start outside of Minecraft. So let's go. And here we are outside of Minecraft in my little drawing application. What you're going to see here is me drawing over a screenshot. I tend to do this when I'm super stuck and I don't know where to start. It's actually a great tool, even if you can't draw well, just to kind of start putting colors down on the screen. You can see I'm getting rid of some of the water and trying to kind of outline where the sand is. This is actually not the first step of the process. I can't show you the first step because I'm so scared of the evil copyright gods of the YouTube. But my first step was actually going on the internet and searching for inspiration pictures for the sort of beaches that I was trying to kind of come up with and replicate here. Now, the problem I was running into with beaches in particular is when you look up like coastal landscapes or beaches, they tend to be quite cliffy. And that's exactly what I've got going on the other side of my island. But on this side of the island, everything is really flat. And I think that makes it a lot more difficult, especially when you're staring into the ocean in the distance. The horizon is already really flat. The ocean is one solid block. Well, it's not a block, but you know what I mean? It's really flat. And then the beach itself is really flat. And I was kind of struggling as to how to give this place a little bit more depth and how to actually kind of make the sand more interesting than just having sand on the beach. That was a sort of geography aspect of my beach that I really need to figure out. There was also the climate. When you look at beach inspiration, you quite often see like palm trees and stuff. I knew I didn't want to do that. This is still quite a cold place. Our beach is bordering some ice. It would feel weird to have some palm trees there. So I knew I had to start by looking at coastal landscapes and beaches in sort of colder countries. I went for something that I'm more familiar with. I could have searched all over the world, but I went with sort of beaches on the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Especially the Baltic Sea was super useful here because the landscape around it is a lot more flat than, say, you would have maybe at the North Sea, like Norway's coast and stuff. So we started looking at the Baltic countries, the coastlines there and stuff like that, which was really nice. They had these images of dunes They have some trees and stuff, so I started to take inspiration of that and then trying to define what sort of a landscape I could really have here. It gave me a lot of ideas just looking at these images. I wish I could share them, but I don't own them, so I'm just gonna draw what I can. And for the ambience part of my base, I knew I really wanted to add some waves. I don't know how to add waves in Minecraft. I've seen other people try to do them. They've always come out quite good, but I don't know if they're exactly what I'm looking for. This was the bit of the process I'm really excited to try. Is probably going to be incredibly difficult. I'm probably going to fail. But I'm excited to try it. And because the beach has been so difficult for me, I decided not to do just one screenshot, but to do several screenshots. So I've taken a second one from a different angle, so I can really visualize what it looks like from the ground as well as the sort of bird's eye view of the place. And just kind of following the same steps. I'm drawing out where the water should be, where the sand should be, and then really plotting things down like this. It's such a useful tool. It means you don't have to spend hours placing blocks. I guess you could do something similar by just popping into creative version of your world and using tools like Axiom or World Edit to quickly make large scale changes. But since I tried to avoid creative versions of my world, I've used them in the past, but I don't find it quite as sort of stimulating in a sense. I don't have quite as much fun when I jump straight into creative, so I decided to go for the good old draw over method. I think it works really well. I would recommend it. And just before I forget about the ambience bar, I really want to add some wildlife in here. Maybe a seal, maybe turtles, maybe some seagulls. Well, probably most definitely some seagulls, but something like that. Or some little cute things. Here we are, and I think a fairly similar angle as the drawing we did. So, a lot of work to do. I think it's easiest to just remove everything and then kind of work from there. So we're gonna have a bit of a natural mob farm here as I clear out these sand dunes. I can't remember if these are original. I think I might have built them up a little bit. There might have been like a little cliff thing here. Oh, look, lamp. But we're gonna start with a blank slate really, and then rebuild a cliff because I do want some sort of a cliff here. As I said, it's super flat looking out, and I don't want it to be super flat. The ocean already does that for us, so we need to break this view line a little bit. I was looking at my reference pictures and inspiration. I saw a bunch of these cute little paths that are made out of sort of wood planks that just sit on top of sand. I think that's all there is to them, and I really want to use that sort of path over here. The mob farms are really working. What I think I'll do is I'll just bring everything down to the water level. That's going to be the lowest point of our beach, and I think the easiest place to start from. Let's definitely widen this bit of the ocean, or well, I guess some sort of firth. Okay, we are definitely getting there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use sandstone to kind of mark out the edges of the beach, but we're not actually going to leave it as sandstone. One of the ways I want to show waves in this sort of beach area is by using some birch and some oak as well. So if you were to sort of imagine it, I guess you could do it right here. Oak needs to be above ground. We can sort of create an effect that there is wet sand. As sand gets darker when it's been wet by water. Water is wet. And we could also even add some oak to make it look even darker. And then if we have this from afar, look at it. Kinda cute. Okay, maybe better if I stand away from it, but now think about this on like a large scale and it's sort of like waving in and out. I think that's gonna look really good. Is it gonna look a bit weird from up close? Maybe, but that's why we're gonna have, decorations around to kind of distract you from the fact that it's wood. We're just going to use it here for the color because it really is the perfect color for wet sand. The first things first, I think we want to make this less of an updrop sort of rectangle and more into a nice smooth curve. And we also want to actually widen the river. I think I don't have loads of space to work with, but I don't think it should be this then. I think actually in real life where the rivers lead into the ocean tends to kind of be their wide point. Not always, but a lot of the time I kind of see what they call the river mouse. I see them as quite big things. Well, the beach is definitely growing. I don't love all of the shapes. I'm going to rework this section, I think. It's a little bit too narrow here. Feels unrealistic for some reason. I do like the actual kind of shapes of it. I'm trying to stick to the screenshot angle, so it's hard to explain. It's not a perfect match. I think I need to get the sand to come out more towards the beach, and I also need to do these sections as well. But we're getting there. I've just run out of sandstone. But I think this section's pretty spot on, actually, like this sort of inside. Pretty spot on with what I want. I don't know how I'm going to connect that one either. But we are definitely moving forward, which is great because I still don't really want to work on this, but we're making it work. That is one tasty gradient. Oh, I love that. I was trying to make it kind of be uneven and wavy where I did the gradient, and I think just having those little few patches where we don't have the oak wood, but we just have the, what's it called, the birch wood, I think that'll do the trick. It's gonna be a hard thing to nail, but it's a lot of fun. I really do love this effect. And then the most annoying part after is going in underneath and adding some, I'm just using sandstone for now, but I suppose you could really use any block underneath here, so that my sand, which you can see is a little bit darker than the sandstone, so it goes in here. Of course, we could use, and I think I will add some while I remember, we could use the good old upside down stairs trick. So let's get ourselves some stairs. And if I do this, we'll get that sandstone texture from the sides of the block onto the full block over here. Otherwise, if you play sandstone, you always get this smooth sort of top, but the stairs don't have that, so we could definitely use this to texture just a little bit. Yeah, that is so cool. This part of the process is taking honestly such a long time. I can see why I didn't do this earlier, but I am so happy with the results. I'm kind of just blindly texturing here, which I probably need to stop now, because it's time to start building the little hill that's going to go here. So before the sun sets, let me show you what we've got. I think this is looking super cute. I like the kind of wavy effect on the beach with the kind of inconsistent birch and oak that has really come together better than I had even hoped it would. There's still some corners I think need a little bit of touching up, but I'm really happy with it. It obviously looks better from afar, but even up close, like this distance, doesn't bother me that much. So it's time for us to start building up this little hill that's going to go here. This is our sort of sand dune. It's going to have a bit of this sort of sandy dirt on it, I guess. We don't really have a block for it in Minecraft, but in real life, you know, it's dirt mixed in with sand that some plant life can live on. These sections are up on the hill, so they're not getting directly hit with the waves and weathered away, but they are still getting weathered away from all the wind and stuff. Now, the big thing to remember about this sand dune is that it needs to not block our view. We do want a little bit of sort of interest going into this landscape. I mean, if we stand directly here, we're looking directly at the sword, so we're going to block this kind of corner of it a little bit. That should be okay. I think the asymmetry is going to actually make it a little bit more interesting. And the reason we're doing this, the reason we're adding a cliff, aside from everything being really flat in the landscape, as we spoke about, we're also just going to have a large area with very minimal color or shape change. The beaches are generally really flat and they're generally all, well, sand colored unless you have like a pebble beach and stuff, but I want this to be sand. And it's kind of hard to texture it. You do your best, but it still ends up being quite subtle. In the video for Art of Interesting Builds, and I've spoken about this at length, we have the concept of interesting builds by shape, color, or texture. And as you can see, we don't really have any of that going on just now. It's okay because it's the terrain and it's not the main character. Something does need to be a little bit more interesting here. Something needs to be like at least a supporting character over this landscape. I actually think I'm going to bring this out maybe a little bit more looking at it from pre-cam. So we're going to add a little bit of interest with the color and the shade and even the texture by adding in some trees and stuff. This terrain here might actually be the hardest bit of this whole build. I don't know how to get the color I want. I want like a slightly green, slightly sandy kind of color, and it just doesn't really exist in the game. It is so sad. I want to add it. I want to use it. I mean, I think birch strip logs are like the closest color to what it would probably be in real life, but I can't place things like grass on it. I think a big thing I'm going to need to do is get some short grass and bring that green over. Luckily, I have some with me. So I try to do a mixture of blocks I can short grass and blocks that are the right color. I want to... Oh, I just got rid of that one. I want to place more short grass, but there's not enough blocks. It's so flat. This terrain's so flat. I might actually... Do I spread these slabs out more? No, because I'm kind of envisioning like a not too big of a cliff. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had the perfect block for this. I don't. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy though how flat the rest of the beach now looks. That I've got a little bit of a hill going up here. It's okay. It's okay. The beach is meant to be flat. The trees will help. Trees will definitely help. I can put trees anywhere because they're just, you know, walls and fences and stuff. I probably should have seen this coming, but I've realized a big part why it feels so flat is because, well, it literally is like a pancake. A pancake on the ocean floor, or not floor, rather the ocean top. So yeah, it's sticking out. It looks extra flat. I actually think if I start building down the cliffs downward at some point, that should help a lot with the effect. It's probably going to be hollow on the inside because, let's be real, I don't have that much time. But hopefully it will help. But we're nearly done here with this section. We've got our little cliff. It's looking a bit weird. It's not quite looking sand dune-y, but I think the trees and adding more grass and some leaves and stuff, that's really going to pull it together, or so I hope at least. One last look before I start putting in the trees, and I think the trees are going to be quite a difficult part. So I realize this is going to bother me for probably the rest of time, till the end of time. But I realized that my windmill is probably facing the wrong way. Realistically, the wind tends to travel in from the ocean, and this thing is facing the opposite direction towards sort of inland. I'm hoping the windmill would still spin as the wind would hit it from the behind, but it's probably not the ideal kind of architectural decision. But yes, we are considering wind here for our trees, because trees out by the coastline tend to be quite windswept, and so I need to figure out how to properly convey that. I see that a lot of them just have their lower branches kind of missing. I don't really know why, but I think we're going to make use of these blocks that I can't place grass on and build our trees on them. I'm going to try to fit quite a few trees on here, so they're going to have to be quite small, I think. Not too large. I'm debating between some sort of pine or spruce trees. Again, those are going to be sort of the dominant trees of our island. I think maybe pines. I think windswept spruces could be quite difficult to build. But the focus of today's video is not new type of custom trees, so I am just going to basically copy what I've done in the past and hope it works out. How tall, I guess, do I want this to be? First, I have to consider that I want to keep this path open. See that nearly blocks sword. If you imagine some leaves coming out, it might be okay. It might slightly block it. I don't want too many, which means this side of the dune is going to have to be pretty empty. We're going to kind of stack them over on this side, this little hill instead. And at this point in my Minecraft career, I can't really build a custom tree without using a happy gas, so let's bring one over. Something I need to remember as I'm spamming these little dry grass everywhere is that they wouldn't actually grow where the ocean comes in and reaches all that often. So not too close to the waterline, I guess. Let's place this one maybe a little bit more inland. I think that's going to feel a little bit more natural. Mobs are definitely an issue here right now, but other than that, I think we're starting to look really good here at this beach. It's starting to feel more like a beach. And if we take a look from far away, I think this sort of bit of the waterline, it feels natural. I like the trees. Some of the copper on them is yet to age, of course, like that one. You can see I've freshly built them, which when you think about it is kind of a weird term. I've built these trees, I didn't grow them, but here they are. I think they actually work really well in the landscape, especially as you stand here and you get to see the further ones away. It really works. You're like, oh, this is part of the island's ecosystem, these pine trees. Oh, they're so cute. And honestly, they're really difficult to build, at least for me. The spruce trees, you know, they're all, where are the spruce trees? Like here. They're all kind of the same. It's actually really difficult to even make them any different. But these pine trees, oh my goodness, I can't make a same one if I tried. Because I'm just placing blocks and hoping for the best. And oh, we can wax this one here. And I think we've done a really good job of not completely blocking the sword. Actually, the way this one sticks out a little bit, it feels kind of natural. Maybe if it was like one block over to the left, it would be better. But I don't hate it. I actually think it sort of really opens up nicely as you come in here. Framing on both sides. Stand here on the dune. We've really turned this from kind of more of a touristy spot that it was before. Well, at least it was meant to look a little bit more like a park and stuff, to kind of just a bit of a wild beach. So let's bring a little bit of that civilization back. On my picture, which I'll add in, you can see that I added some like little docks coming out, just tiny little ones for maybe some leisure fishing, or I don't know. It's a little smaller scale than the big docks over there. So we're gonna add those back in. I also want to add the paths. I realize I've maybe planted my grass where the paths are gonna go, but that's okay. And then we're gonna start adding maybe some ambience, or maybe we're gonna finish the terraforming because that still needs done as well. So originally for the paths, I was going to do like the plank kind of effect, and I was gonna use beehives because I think you can definitely make some sort of planks out of them, especially if you how do we place them? Like this. Looks like one big long plank, but from a distance, because it's such the same color as the oak over here, I found that it just kind of looked weird, even if I had a bunch of them. I tried it on a small section and really didn't like it, so we're not going to use beehives. I need to put something that I think sticks out a little bit. It's a shame because the oak color is kind of perfect for the effect I want, but I don't know if we can use oak. We might try using trapdoors. Expensive paths, but it would kind of look like just planks on the sand. Let's see. They kind of always look like something to lay down on instead of a path, though. They kind of stick out a little bit too much. Yeah, my brain can only see them as like a lounge chair or something. Not really a chair, but like maybe like a mat on the floor. Maybe pressure plates would be thinner. They're not going to connect. Or maybe we just don't do a path at all. Maybe people here just walk on the sand and enjoy it like that. Let's try some pressure plates. I really don't like that they don't connect, but it might work. Feels a little bit more like a path, about from afar. No, my brain still sees them as something to lay down on. Okay, well, we're just gonna leave it for now. If I can think of anything again, if they were in the sand, maybe oak logs like this. I kind of need like a vertical slab with though. Like I don't want it to be a full block, but I think it's gonna have to be my last attempt. Let's do another one. These just feel too big. Yeah, they feel too big. Okay, no path it is then, or at least until I get a better idea if I get one. I said last episode I didn't care much for Tiny Takeover, but I really like this. Stone. I could turn it into cobble. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is great. I much prefer to do most of my mining with Silk Touch. Every time I use Fortune, I'm breaking an ender chest or two. So this is so handy. Thank you for that. And the same works with Deep Slate, I'm pretty sure. So Basically, if you didn't notice anything that's different, you've not been able to do that. You would always have to break your stone down into cobblestone to be able to craft things. Craft cobblestone things, but now you can do it in a stone cutter. Fantastic. I am facing a bit of a dilemma just now. You see, I wasn't going to do the terraforming originally straight away in the seafloor, but I really have been enjoying this project actually. I'm having a blast, and now I want to see what it would look like if I did do the ocean floor. And I ran into an issue. Originally, I was going to just put sand everywhere and be like, oh, this is a nice clear lagoon almost inside. But I didn't realize that it doesn't quite make sense with the wood being like the wet sand color, because then this sand underwater surely should be that same color. But I do think that the oak planks are just a little bit too textured and too obvious to use as like an entire ocean floor. Yeah, they're just too stripy when you have a lot of them. If you just use a block here and there, I think you can get away with it. So now I'm trying other blocks that I could maybe use that have a similar kind of clear texture as sand. I think light grey terracotta could work. Not really. It's not really giving sand underwater though. I don't know what to use here. I could just make it dirt. That'd be cheap. I just really want it to be sand. Do you think I can get away with just using sand? I have a lot of it, and you know, it would save me a lot of hassle. And I think, you see how in the drawing, I'll put it up on the screen again, you see how in the drawing like that water is purposely a little bit clearer? I think we could pull that off if we just use sand. I think I'm gonna try, because I can't think of anything else. It's not gonna make sense. It's not gonna make perfect sense. I want you guys to just bear with me and just accept that even though our sand on the shores is darker, our sand underwater is just going to be, well, sand. How many times can we say the word sand? She sells seashells by the seashore. And then if I want to make this feel like a beach, oh, why don't I just kinda gradient it out again? Maybe it's a bit darker because it's like a little bit more rocky. I don't know. I don't know. But I think we could gradient it out again. What I was trying to say is, if we want this to feel like a beach that people can swim on, make sure the drop is not too steep. I think that could work. I think we can gradient it out again. And then once we drop down again, I think that will probably work. I'm hoping that will probably work. Yep. Yeah. That is definitely getting there, I think. That looks so much cleaner. We just get rid of all that random dirt and stone and everything. And of course, I need to put the grass back in. I'm going to put some leaves, you know, a little bit of a underwater vegetation. But I actually think the gradient in and out kind of method works. I mean, it doesn't make perfect sense, but I like it. The water looks like super clear now, which is a weird thing to say because Minecraft water is always the same color. But, you know, when it's quite shallow and there's a light color behind it, I feel like it looks a lot brighter. I am a fan. For these sections, it's just so much easier to use sandstone and sand because then I don't have to place anything underneath it. And it looks a bit weirder on the side, but that's okay. We can just see that this is, you know, sand that is... Oh, that is dark and spooky. I'm probably going to spawn drowned. We can just see this is some compact sand that's been pressed down and turned it into sandstone over time, as it's not right next to the water. This is honestly the perfect project, I think. Like, genuinely, I think the other underwater terraforming I was doing was not as fun as this. It's like the right amount of like not thinking, if that makes sense. But it's not incredibly mind-numbing either. Like, say, taking out the nether. Now that is mind-numbing. That is a lot of work, and it just never ends, and it's mind-numbing. Here the work does end, and it's a little bit repetitive. Also not incredibly repetitive. I'm still need to figure out how to join these things together. But I found that the other terraforming, if we look over that way, nope, I don't have a free cam over there. But you know, the stuff we've been working on a little while earlier with the few episodes ago with the rocks and stuff, like that was tough. That was somehow a lot of brain power. This is brain easy mode. Look at it. I actually think that looks pretty smooth. Like, if it's not a perfect terraform, it's not incredibly natural, but it's also not incredibly unnatural. It gets the job done. I actually tried mixing in some dripstone blocks. You can't really see them, which makes it feel like a perfect sort of transition between the sand and the darker colors here in the ocean. I really, really like this. I'm excited for the other steps, but also I'm not, because I know I'm gonna have to turn my brain on. This side's not done at all, so I'm gonna have a blast working on this. I think a good thing about this project as well is that, hello, aside from the drowned, there's very little prep work required. I already had a bunch of wood. I already had a lot of the sandstone, although I've basically emptied the shulker of sandstone I brought for this project, so I'm going to need to go get more. And that, you know, pretty good. How steep do we want this to be? That's the question. I think this is fairly like one in, one out, or this is kind of like one out, always gradual curve. I think this one's going to be a little bit more steep. I've got a little bit more distance here to cover, so let's go 2 blocks. Of course, a lot of these are going to be under rocks, so maybe let's just go like this. And then go in with birch. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how I'm going to light the beach up. It's not very safe right now. But on the bright side, I'm just working on this last bit of the beach on this side. I feel like it doesn't connect quite properly. I've just realized the sand's on the same level, so maybe that's why. But I've connected all the blocks over here. Let me sleep the night away so we can see a little bit better. I'm gonna try to do a slow flyby so you can see that everything is connected, and I think it's made honestly too much of a difference. It was a lot of work, but as I said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really, really chuffed with it. Now let's go stand at the pier here. I think even from the pier, the view is pretty good now. Sure, it's not like a seamless connection to the ocean, but who needs that? It's progress, not perfection over here, and if I tried to make a perfect ocean floor, it would take weeks, if not months. But this, I can get done in an episode in a couple hours. Finally, it's time to try do the thing I've been very scared, but very excited to try. The waves. And what I mean by that is I just want like little white streaky lines in the water. To show that it's the waves, so we won't be able to get any movement in here, no. But if I can pull this off, I'd be delighted. In my inventory, I have a bunch of blocks I think might be usable. Or we might not be able to pull this off at all. I don't know. I'm not meant to have that. I'm trying to only get like not full blocks. As I think thinner lines will probably work better, but who knows, maybe we can get full blocks in here later. And I'm just gonna start with white glass, white stained panes. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'll be honest with you. I want this oh, that's a really sharp corner. Okay. I guess I want almost like a cartoony effect on of the waves. That's about it. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe if we do it over by one? Definitely not leaving it like that. Realistically, I'm probably gonna need a mixture of colors to make this look more natural than just oh hey, a white line in our water. And I feel like if it was further from coast, it won't bother me as much walking on the beach. Let's, you know, let's chuck some cyan in here. Eee, that's a bright color. Okay, let's chuck some. I can see why people don't normally try this. None of that looks like a wave right now. None of it. Do you have trap doors? But these will sit on an edge of a block rather than in the middle, so I kind of have to pick my poison. Let's grab some easy blocks to use as scaffolding and hope I don't ruin my water sources too much. It's probably one of those things where you're gonna need a lot of it to really feel like you're getting somewhere. Wonder how the coppers... They do connect. Interesting. Oh, that's very sharp. Guys, I'm kinda starting to see the vision. I kinda like it. I'm not gonna lie, it's an acquired taste. I think people are gonna either hate this or love this, and I'm afraid that I might be in the love this camp. Oh my goodness. Let's get on a happy cast. Wait, Clementine, wait. Okay, up close. I'll admit up close. Not ideal. But the further I get away from this, isn't it so cool? Isn't it so cool? Let's head over to the pier. I don't think I'll ever catch Clementine again now. Hey, that doesn't look bad either, though. Wait, I'm overjoyed. I'm overjoyed. Now, the thing with this is I don't think we're gonna want it surrounding the entire coast. What if, okay, what if we focus where our sand is wetter, where our wood is oak? Huh? What'd you think? Oh, guidance. From where? Right there. Constantly. I don't know what the point of having the conduit. Owie! Right there is. I forgot to take my armor off. Ah! I was wondering why it took so long to mine the glass underwater. I didn't have my armor on. That's just the excitement getting to me. Okay. I'm gonna try another segment right here. Leave a bit of a gap. Not a massive gap, as already we've kind of gone 2 blocks into the birch. But I think mixing the colors kind of really smoothens the curves, I think. And the white really sticks out as the waves after. So let's get our dirt. One more block away. Okay, this will be good. Let's start with this. Maybe 2 blocks white. Then we go for light blue. And then turn. Do a cyan. Light blue again. White. Turn. Sort of barely trying to mimic what kind of the coastline, I guess, a little bit. Okay. Now important. Another row. Oh, this one's a bit shorter. Okay, maybe just a very tiny little row. It's like a wave after wave. Wave after wave. Slowly drifting. Drifting away. Okay, that might be too repetitive. Like, it's gonna be a finicky, tricky business. But I do think we're cooking with what's the saying? Cooking with gas now? We're getting there. I genuinely feel like I'm kind of just drawing. I don't know how to explain this feeling, but I don't feel like I'm building... Whoa, I've messed that up. I'm building with a specific purpose or anything. I'm like, aha, this could do with like a little wave, and then I'm adding a little wave, and I think this wave should maybe face that way. Oh, that's a weird curve. How can I make this curve? That is always the question of the diagonal. You know what? Let's go out this way. And then this way, and then back into white. So hard to say. It's weird. I won't argue that it's weird. I think that could actually be white, like most of the way through. I actually think I've nearly nailed it. Get rid of this, and then grab this, and put it where the cyan was. And now if you take a look from the kind of original angle, I think it looks kind of cool. I won't lie. I know I've said this. I'm going to continue to say it just because I'm really, really happy with this. I was so scared and I thought, oh my god, it's gonna look like a nightmare, but I had an idea, and sometimes, guys, you can just try ideas. If I end up hating this, you know, a couple months in being like, oh, that looks so unrealistic and so bad, that's okay. I can remove it. Or if you get the world download and you hate it, well, you can remove it. Oh, but the waves. You know what? I just remembered. I just remembered that, like, several episodes ago, I said I'm gonna name a thing each episode, and I have not done it since that episode. Whoopsie. I know that's not relevant, it just popped into my mind. Because I should probably come up with a name for this beach, or the sea, or something. You know what? Seeing as the river is called Flumenthal, why not just use part of that name and call this the Lemon Sea? Lemon Sea? Don't know why that's popped into my head, but these are the waves of the Lumen Sea. Lumen, Dan, I don't know, luminosity, kinda funny. In my head, it's kind of funny. This is why people don't let me name things. It's so cool. It's so cool. Look at it. It's so faint, but it's so cool. Let's go on the sword. It actually looks so cool from afar. Can you even see it? I don't know, I can. Just barely. Just enough to give that wavy effect. There is so many more waves I want to add, especially around the piers and then leading on to the shipyard as well. But it takes time and effort, and frankly, I'm all out of a glass base and placing juice. So I'm gonna call it a day there on the waves. I am honestly beyond happy with the result. I don't think it is even that prominent from a, like, unless you stand super next to it, super next to it, like this, it's a bit of like, oh, what am I looking at? But from every other angle, it's fantastic, honestly. I don't think I've got space here to check these things in, but next up, I really want to add some seagulls. And I'm a little bit scared. I don't know how to add seagulls. I think, well, I was scared with the panes. I was scared with the redoing of the beach, and it's all worked out excellently. So I hope I can do the seagulls justice. Now, I guess the main difference between these crows and the seagulls is honestly just the color of them. So if I just get myself some pale oak trapdoors, oh look, that's pretty against the sun. Pale oak trapdoors and like a different kind of slab. I feel like, oh, I've got trapdoors already. I feel like that might be all we need. And obviously a bunch of scaffolding, because we're going to be building these above the ocean. I'm going to try it with pale oak slabs, but we might also try it with diorite, because that looks kinda seagull-y. I think this is one of those where less is more, with little tiny builds like that. If you go too heavy in details, it's just going to look a bit weird. Kind of a seagull. Okay, no, I dig that. I dig that. There's probably a better way to make these, but you know what? It's gonna be fine. Now, seagulls generally fly in more than flocks of 3, but because, you know, they're quite big, and I think a whole sky of them would look a bit weird all in one spot, we're just gonna use the rule of 3 to just create a bunch of 3 sets of seagulls, I think, in a few different places, a few different heights. I think that works. That feels like the right kind of height for the birds. I'm not too sure about these close ones. They kind of make sense to be low down as they're sort of like approaching the land here, and maybe they're gonna try to go sit here somewhere. But I think it's okay. It's a little bit weird side on. I won't lie. It's a little bit weird. Like right here, it's kind of weird. But I think because we're spending most of our base a little bit further away, I'm so curious. How is it gonna look from this bridge? Oh, they're just kind of perfectly flying the distance. Oh, that's really good. Oh, you can see All 5 of them actually. I put 5 pairs of 3, so 15 birds in total. And oh my goodness, I love them. I kind of want to build some on top of the sword now to maybe kind of make it look like it's perching down on it. I've never considered making the sword look like it's been actually like used by the fauna in the area, but I think that might work. Hybrid one. Oh, can we? You know, we're really far away here. So is this a slab? No, it's not a slab. So I should be able to, if I use a bit of, you know, bit of scale magic. Say we can't use signs because they'll deload. That looks like a floating seat. That looks like someone's put a chair on it. How about just a little, you know, a bit like this? I think it's too wide. I think the actual slab is too wide. It's okay actually. I would like to try moving it a bit further out. Maybe again, if we use the rule of 3. And I should have really taken some coral with me, but seeing as I didn't, I can't make a nest for them. No, they kind of look humongous. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's just not working with a scale. Maybe, honestly, could I get away with just maybe using diorite walls? Just like one single wall for bird. They still kind of look like giant birds, but honestly, I don't hate this kind of look of it. I think this one's going to be up to you guys. Obviously, if I zoom in, it starts looking super weird, so I want you to pretend that you're kind of standing right here and you're seeing some white dots on the sword. They still feel really big. So let me know what you think. There's the birds. I think it's sorta, barely, kinda. They look like really fat seagulls. They look like really fat seagulls. I'm gonna dwell on it. I'm gonna think about it a little bit more, and I would really appreciate knowing if you guys like it or not, so I can make up my mind easier. Actually, you know what I don't like? They're very uniform. One of them needs to be a bit closer to the other ones. There we go. I think it's a bit more obvious at night as well, so that'll help us see it a bit better. I don't know. I still don't know. Well, I think this is it. In my sketches originally, I had a boat and a seal also to build. But now that I've done all this work, I actually don't think we need it. I think all we need to do is place some vegetation, some fauna, like a couple finishing touches, but I don't think we actually need to add more builds in here. I don't really want a boat here anymore because I feel like it's gonna detract, it's gonna, you know, distract you from the sword. And yeah, I don't want that. I think it's so good as it is. If I were to add a boat, I would probably do it in that direction. At some point in the future, when we start working on that village maybe, you know, we could do a big set of ships and boats in this area. That's the plan anyways, at some point. But yeah, I wouldn't build one just now. And the seal, well, honestly, I'm still down for the idea, but I had a look at this beach and I can't find a spot to put it. I actually like the amount of empty space everywhere. If I were to do a seal, you know, it'd be at least a couple blocks long, a couple blocks wide, so it would go like there or there, but I don't think he needs it. So I'm gonna say I'm not gonna force anything. I'm not gonna add on something that I don't think has got a home. If I had something that was like, oh, this is a spot that's like incredibly empty and obvious and we could put stuff there, yeah, I'd do it. But right now, I don't. So maybe in a different beach at a different time, or I don't know, maybe never, but we'll stash that idea for now. I do want to clarify something as well. I just want to share this with you guys. I started this video on Monday after work. And for context, it's currently 9 PM on Thursday, and I would like to edit this out and get it released on Friday. I normally try to upload either Friday or Sunday, depending how much time I've got and stuff like that. And the reason I'm saying this is because I know a lot of you guys are big fans of Ether. I know. We're all in this together. Listen, I like to be inspired by by the hermits and the YouTubers and everything as much as anybody else. I love getting inspiration from them. I'm not that fast at building. I just want to clarify this because Ether literally uploaded an episode 2 hours ago where he did a very similar thing with the wood, with the sand and honestly I think it's pulled off way better than me. I've used planks because I'm lazy. He's done logs and the whole thing. It looks amazing. But but I don't know why, I just felt like I should clarify that so people don't look at it out of context and think, wow, you've literally just ripped off this video, because everybody knows I'm a big fan. Anyways, it's nighttime. It's time to light this up. It's time to add in the last couple plants and wrap up. So I really don't know how I'm gonna light this up. So my lighting process for this is going to be pretty simple. I think I'm just going to put a couple of lichens on the trees just in case some of the slabs I've placed are spawnable. Probably not, but they'll go nicely in the dark anyways. And over here. And then I placed a bunch, oh, that's a bad example. I placed a bunch of pickles in the water because I think it gives it quite a nice sort of ethereal almost glow in nighttime. And it lights the place up pretty well because we do have a lot of water. And then anything else is still dark. I think we might want to just hang a lantern or two off the tree. I don't know if I can. Can I hang one up there? Aha. Yeah, that's alright. How about this tree as well? That's quite high up. And then if we still have dark spaces, we can just, you know, liken it up a little bit. I don't know how that's actually gonna look. That's really obvious against the sand. If we zoom out, it's okay actually, because I think what we could do is get away with it looking like seaweed or something that washed up, maybe. Not too many, but maybe around rocks. I see not too many as I place like 4 in a row, but let's see. I really don't like how repetitive the texture of lichen appears if you use more than a few. So maybe just in very little spots here in the middle. I'm gonna have to still come up with an idea for it. Proof of my failure. Oh, I thought I had it all up. No. One more spot I've clearly missed, and this is great because I need string for candles and stuff, so, you know, better than a creeper or something. Boink, boink. Must be here? Oh, quite a few spaces here, actually. And I might have gone. How bad is it here? 2, 1. Oh, exactly 5, 6 blocks of 0. I'm just gonna yoink these. Now, I actually wanted to go around and add sugarcane to edges because I thought it looked really cute. You know, it's green, it's bright, it's sugarcane. I can't plant it on wood. So that's not going to work. But if I now fly onto hopefully a seagull, if I can make it. I've also likened all... Ah, I did not make it. I've also likened all the seagulls so we don't get mobs spawning on it. What do we think? I've bone mealed a lot of the ground that I've placed in. Looks a bit more natural. I still don't 100% love the seaweed inside. I actually kind of preferred it when there was nothing, but it does add a lot of movement into the water. I think it's one of those that looks better from up close. The seaweed looks good from up close, and the waves look good from afar. I'll just get rid of a couple of those. Genuinely, one of my favorite things I've done recently. Somehow, I fall in love with this game even more every time. I'm so happy. I think officially task coupling has been a success because I've actually preferred task 1 to task 2. Maybe because I've not built the seal and the the boat or anything. All those little things that were meant to show movement and life and, you know, just the tiny things. I have not felt like this build doesn't need it. I've added enough detail, I think, with the colours and the waves. The waves definitely make it a lot busier, but look at this view. Look at this view. That glasswork needs a lot of work, but see the birds? The lovely sound of the sheep farm going off. I really, really like this. I'm I'm confused because I already knew what, like, I had an idea for the thumbnail, I had an idea for the title, and I want to throw it all away because I'm like, look at this beach. Oh my god, news you found at the sea. Who would have thought? Unfortunately, I was working on this beach. We did suffer some casualties. I think there was a pillager spawn. I'm pretty sure there was a pillager spawn, and they've trampled a bunch of my wheat. But they're there, and somehow we've lost... to be fair, I don't know how long these guys have been gone. Probably a long time. Maybe to like a lightning strike or something. We've lost a whole farm worth of villagers. And it's trampled as well, which makes me think there was witches in there. Because I don't think farmer villagers... Oh no, they do trample it. I have no idea. The view from this little bridge does not disappoint. And I think it's going to look even better when I go around and replace the cherry trees and the azalea trees, not that one because that's already custom, and the azalea trees with custom trees as well. The view from here, lovely. I think we'll plant a couple more of these pine trees along this edge as well at some point. The view from the Flumenthal Bridge, iconic, absolutely gorgeous. And the view from the pier, not a bad one at all. Wait, we can also look at it from the castle. How many angles of the beach can I stare at? Oh, it's good from the castle. I just really like it. I am genuinely so glad that I sketched this all out beforehand because it gave me a lot more freedom to try different shapes. I would have been scared to try in Minecraft, and I definitely don't think I would have tried to do a pier on a diagonal, but I think it really works. It just kind of breaks up the shape in a good way. We could even add a little bridge here, but I don't think we need it. And yeah, I still love the waves so much. It's so much. And one more view from the Sun's Respite, where we're probably going to build another pier. It's not its best angle, but it's still not bad. And with that, I am going to leave it here for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had genuinely just an amazing time. I can't. Everybody should go build a beach. It's so much fun. I don't know why this in particular. It's making me so happy. I think it's the waves. Maybe it's the simplicity of it. It's a simple build. You know, trees, a bit of sand, a bit of gradients, a bit of texturing, a bit of waves. What more could you possibly need? I'm gonna go fish. Except I don't actually love fishing in Minecraft, but pretend I do. I'm fishing. I'm having the best time of my life. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.